Focus on the young woman wearing a black hoodie. Her name is Destiny Williams, 18 years old. She's walking toward what she believes is a legitimate job interview, an opportunity that could help fund her dream of attending cosmetology school. Now observe the man beside her, his arm casually positioned on her shoulder. His name is Marcus Patterson. He created the fraudulent job posting that brought her here. In less than half an hour, her phone will be permanently disabled. This wasn't an interview, this was a kidnapping. September 18, 8 p.m. 2 hours have passed since Destiny Williams should have returned home. Her grandmother dials her granddaughter's number for the first time that evening. The call goes straight to voicemail. She tries again. Voicemail. The anxiety that had been building throughout the afternoon transforms into genuine alarm. Just before midnight, Destiny's grandmother contacts the Chicago Police Department to file an official missing person report. The dispatcher records the essential information. 18-year-old female, no previous history of disappearing. Last known activity was traveling to a job interview in the suburban area. For the officers processing the report, the circumstances fit a common pattern for young adults her age. The case receives its initial classification, potential runaway. This designation would prove tragically wrong and would cost precious investigative time. But this official categorization contradicted everything about who Destiny Williams actually was. Destiny grew up in Englewood on Chicago's South Side, one of the city's most challenging neighborhoods. Her childhood was marked by instability, a mother struggling with drug addiction, and a father incarcerated at Stateville Correctional Center. Despite these circumstances, or perhaps because of them, Destiny became the stable force in her fractured family. She lived with her grandmother, caring for the woman who had stepped in to raise her. Teachers and neighbors described Destiny as responsible beyond her years, quiet but determined. She had recently graduated from high school and immediately began working part-time at Walmart, not to buy the things most teenagers want, but to save systematically for a specific goal. Her dream was crystal clear: a 10 pivot point academy to study cosmetology. This wasn't a vague aspiration. She had researched tuition costs, created a savings plan, and was actively working toward making it happen. Her Instagram account reflected this focus. Unlike most teenagers who use social media for entertainment and connection, Destiny used her profile as a professional portfolio. She posted hairstyling tutorials and makeup demonstrations, building skills and documenting her progress. Every post was a step toward her future. Her family and friends knew with absolute certainty, Destiny would not just vanish. She was a planner, a young woman with clear goals and the discipline to achieve them. She was on the verge of building the life she envisioned for herself. While police processed paperwork and filed reports, Destiny's best friend Janae refused to wait. She immediately began her own investigation, posting Destiny's photograph across every social media platform, messaging anyone who might have information, creating a digital search party. Destiny's grandmother repeatedly insisted to responding officers that her granddaughter was not a runaway. She explained about the job interview, about a company called Elevate Marketing Solutions, about an address and a contact name. She had details, she had specifics, but investigators were about to discover that the first clue in this case was actually the first piece of an elaborate deception: the phantom job posting. The man who identified himself as Mark was a carefully constructed fiction, built entirely from digital manipulation. The job listing that Destiny Williams discovered in late August on Indeed.com represented a masterpiece of calculated deception. The posting was titled Personal Assistant and Social Media Manager. The listing appeared under Elevate Marketing Solutions, using polished professional language that promised competitive compensation at $22 per hour. It included what appeared to be a legitimate Chicago business address. Every element was designed specifically to attract ambitious young people, exactly like Destiny. When she submitted her application, including a link to her Instagram profile to demonstrate her social media skills, Mark's response arrived quickly and appeared completely professional. The correspondence later recovered from Destiny's email account revealed a series of entirely normal-seeming interactions. Mark conducted a preliminary phone interview, asking standard employment questions about her experience, her skills, and her career goals. He spoke knowledgeably and convincingly about the company's client base and expansion plans. He was constructing credibility, brick by digital brick. When the time came to schedule an in-person interview, he had a perfectly reasonable explanation for the meeting location. The main office was currently undergoing renovation work, he explained, so they would need to meet at a satellite office located in an executive suite building in Calumet City. He provided the address and offered to meet her at a nearby gas station, explaining that the building's entrance could be difficult to locate for first-time visitors. Only after Destiny's disappearance did investigators begin unraveling this fabrication. They discovered that Elevate Marketing Solutions had no business registration with the state, no employee records, and no client roster. The professional-looking website that Janae found online was a digital phantom created just a few months before Destiny's application. The executive suite building on Torrance Avenue had no record of the company ever leasing space there. The entire operation was a meticulously constructed trap. Police would soon learn something even more disturbing. Destiny wasn't the first woman Mark had attempted to lure using this exact scheme, but she was the first who had somehow escaped before it was too late. September 18th, the day everything changed. On the afternoon of September 18th, Destiny Williams followed the specific instructions Marcus Patterson had provided. She boarded the CTA Red Line heading south to the 95th Street terminal, then transferred to a bus traveling toward Calumet City. Her final destination was the Shell gas station parking lot that Patterson had designated as their meeting location. At approximately 2:47 p.m., security cameras at the gas station captured Patterson's black Nissan Altima entering the parking area. Moments later, the footage recorded him and Destiny walking together across the asphalt toward his vehicle. This would be the final time any surveillance camera would record her image. Destiny's grandmother expected her home by 6 p.m. When 8 p.m. arrived with no word, and all phone calls went directly to voicemail, profound dread took hold. She contacted the Chicago Police Department and filed a missing person report. However, the department initially classified the case based on the subject's age and the absence of immediate evidence suggesting foul play. Destiny Williams, 18 years old, was officially categorized as a runaway. This procedural determination, while following standard protocol, created a critical time delay. The investigation didn't launch with the urgency appropriate for an abduction case. Meanwhile, Destiny's digital presence had abruptly ended. Cell phone records would later reveal that her phone was either powered down or disabled at 3:15 p.m., just 28 minutes after the gas station security footage captured her with Patterson. In that brief window of time, in or near that parking lot, she had completely vanished. While her family desperately pleaded with authorities to investigate the job interview as a potential lead, the official case file remained in a queue, awaiting evidence to demonstrate that Destiny hadn't simply chosen to leave on her own. The digital evidence breakthrough. The official runaway theory collapsed when digital evidence emerged, discovered not by police investigators, but by Destiny's best friend Janae. Frantically searching for any information that might help locate her friend, Janae accessed Destiny's email and Instagram accounts. There she found the complete communication history with Mark. She immediately provided the login credentials to detectives. This gave the investigation its first substantial leads: the company name, the email address, and the phone number the suspect had used. Investigators quickly confirmed what Janae and Destiny's grandmother had suspected from the beginning. A search of state business registration records showed that Elevate Marketing Solutions didn't exist. The website associated with the company had been created only months earlier, using a service that concealed the owner's identity. When police traced the phone number Mark had used to contact Destiny, it came back to a prepaid burner phone activated shortly before he first reached out to her and disconnected shortly after her disappearance. It was a digital dead end deliberately designed to be untraceable. The real breakthrough emerged from the email address. While the account itself was anonymous, the IP address, a unique identifier revealing a computer's connection location, was not. Cybercrime analysts traced the origin of Mark's emails to a public library in Gary, Indiana. This discovery shifted the geographic focus of the investigation across state lines into Indiana. Detectives obtained security footage from the library and observed a man matching the description from the gas station video using the public computers on multiple dates. They now had clearer images of their suspect, but still no identity. The discovery also revealed something deeply disturbing. Investigators found similar fraudulent job postings in Indianapolis and Milwaukee, all connected to identical methods. They were no longer searching for one missing girl. They were hunting a serial predator operating across multiple states. The license plate, a name, emerges. While the digital trail pointed investigators toward Indiana, the most crucial clue came from the physical world, the gas station parking lot in Calumet City. Detectives meticulously analyzed hours of security footage from every available camera angle, searching for identifying information about the suspect's vehicle. They found it, a well-maintained black Nissan Altima. Although the driver had deliberately parked outside the primary camera's direct sight line, a secondary angle captured his license plate as he entered the lot. A query through the National Motor Vehicle Database provided the name they'd been desperately searching for. The vehicle was registered to Marcus Patterson of Atlanta, Georgia. The name initially meant nothing to Chicago investigators. A background check revealed something unexpected: a man with absolutely no criminal history. He was 34 years old, employed in warehouse management, married, and the father of 2 young daughters. On paper, he appeared to be an ordinary suburban family man, completely disconnected from the dark world of abduction and human trafficking. He was the absolute last person anyone would suspect of such crimes. When the FBI and Atlanta Police Department contacted Patterson's wife, the carefully maintained facade of his double life began crumbling she was completely shocked and disoriented. She confirmed that her husband was currently away from home, traveling throughout the Midwest for what she believed were legitimate work contracts in the logistics industry. His trips had become increasingly frequent over the previous 9 months, she explained, but she'd had no reason whatsoever to suspect anything problematic. In her eyes, he remained a loving husband and devoted father. With her testimony, the investigation now had a clear target. The digital ghost from the Gary library and the man in the gas station footage had an identity, a family, and a home address. The hunt was no longer for a shadow, it was for Marcus Patterson. The arrest, a suburban father's secret life. In early November, the investigation reached its conclusion in the quiet suburbs of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Federal agents and local police arrested Marcus Patterson at his family residence without incident. The man taken into custody appeared worlds away from the predator they'd been pursuing. He was a suburban father whose neighbors knew him only as a quiet family man who waved hello and mowed his lawn on weekends. Investigators had expected to find evidence of a trafficking kingpin, a hardened criminal running a sophisticated operation. Instead, during his interrogation, Patterson offered a confession that completely twisted the entire narrative of the case. He didn't deny his involvement in Destiny Williams' disappearance. However, he claimed he wasn't a willing participant, but rather a coerced pawn in a much larger criminal organization. Patterson explained that several years prior, a severe gambling addiction had accumulated an $85,000 debt to a man named Donnell Cruz, a dangerous figure operating between Chicago and Detroit. When Patterson couldn't repay the money, Cruz offered an alternative arrangement. The debt would be completely forgiven if he agreed to recruit young women for Cruz's trafficking operation. His assignment was straightforward: create the fake profiles, establish trust with potential victims, and deliver them to designated locations. Patterson insisted to detectives that he had attempted to withdraw from the arrangement, but Cruz had made explicitly clear that failure to cooperate would result in the murder of his wife and 2 young daughters. He claimed he had only delivered Destiny because his own family's lives were under direct imminent threat. To substantiate his story, and in a desperate attempt for leniency, he provided investigators with the single piece of information they needed to break the case wide open: the address of an abandoned steel mill off Broadway Avenue in Gary, Indiana. He told them it served as the central hub for Cruz's entire trafficking operation. The raid: 7 rescued, 1 still missing. Acting on information provided by Marcus Patterson, a joint task force combining FBI agents and Gary Police Department tactical units organized a raid. The target was the abandoned steel mill off Broadway Avenue, a sprawling, decaying structure that stood as a rusted monument to the city's industrial past. In late November, tactical teams converged on the location simultaneously. They breached the building and discovered a fully operational human trafficking hub concealed within the deteriorating shell of the factory. The conditions inside were deliberately grim, designed specifically to hold people against their will. Law enforcement found and rescued 7 young women, ranging in age from 18 to 23, originating from various cities across the Midwest. All had been lured by similar false promises of employment opportunities. The discovery represented a major victory for the task force, confirming Patterson's confession about Donnell Cruz's criminal enterprise and resulting in the immediate rescue of multiple victims. The rescued women were immediately transported to a secure facility to receive medical treatment and begin interviews with specialized victim advocates. But for the investigators focused on the case that initiated this entire investigation, the raid concluded in devastating failure. As they accounted for each of the rescued women, a grim reality crystallized. Destiny Williams was not among them. The news shattered her family, extinguishing the fragile hope that she might still be found alive. The raid had successfully dismantled a dangerous trafficking ring, but it had also transformed a missing person case into a probable homicide investigation. The question was no longer whether Destiny had been taken, but what had happened to her after Marcus Patterson drove her away from that parking lot. The confession: what really happened? With Destiny Williams still missing, the full weight of the federal investigation focused on the men apprehended in the Gary warehouse raid. Patterson's confession had exposed the trafficking ring, but he claimed not to know Destiny's ultimate fate. Investigators began systematic interrogation of Donnell Cruz and his lieutenants, leveraging the threat of life sentences to break their code of silence. Under intense pressure, one of Cruz's senior associates finally confessed. His statement erased any remaining hope that Destiny might have somehow escaped. He admitted that the plan had gone catastrophically wrong from the very beginning. When Destiny entered Marcus Patterson's vehicle in the Calumet City parking lot, she quickly recognized that the situation wasn't what it seemed. She fought back with everything she had. In the violent struggle that erupted inside the vehicle, Destiny sustained critical injuries. The Associate explained that a panicked Patterson, who had never intended for things to turn violent, immediately called Cruz for instructions. Cruz, displaying chilling indifference to human life, simply dispatched another member of his organization to the location to handle the problem. Destiny Williams was killed in or near that parking lot on the afternoon of September 18th, within minutes of being abducted. The confession provided the horrifying details of how and why she disappeared, confirming she had been murdered almost immediately after the abduction. But it left one final critical question unanswered, both for investigators and her grieving family. Where was her body? The search, finding Destiny. Guided by the detailed confession from Donnell Cruz's associate, authorities launched an extensive search operation in early December. The search area was a desolate stretch of woodland off Interstate 94, just across the state line between New Buffalo and Bridgman, Michigan. It was there, nearly 3 months after she vanished from the gas station parking lot, that investigators found the body of Destiny Williams. The medical examiner determined the cause of death to be blunt force trauma and strangulation, confirming the violent struggle described by the informant. She had been left in that location since the day of her abduction. The discovery brought the search to its tragic conclusion, but provided her family with something they desperately needed: the ability to finally lay her to rest. Justice and aftermath. The case that began with a missing person report concluded with the complete dismantling of a multi-state trafficking ring. Marcus Patterson, the man who presented himself as a corporate professional and suburban family man, was charged with kidnapping resulting in death and conspiracy. His cooperation with investigators saved him from a potential death penalty, but he was sentenced to life in prison without any possibility of parole. Donnell Cruz, the ringleader who exploited Patterson's desperation and orchestrated the trafficking operation, was arrested in Detroit. He also received a life sentence without parole. 4 additional men connected to the operation were convicted on various federal charges, effectively shuttering the entire criminal enterprise. The 7 young women rescued from the Gary warehouse received extensive support services and counseling. Several have since spoken publicly about their experiences, working to raise awareness about the tactics traffickers use to target vulnerable young people. Destiny's legacy. Destiny Williams was 18 years old when she died. She was a young woman with clear dreams, strong values, and the determination to build a better life for herself. She should have been studying cosmetology, creating the future she'd worked so hard to plan. Instead, she became a victim of a predator who exploited the very thing that made her special: her ambition, her work ethic, her desire to improve her circumstances through legitimate employment. Her story serves as a devastating reminder that human trafficking doesn't always look like what we imagine. The traffickers aren't always strangers in dark alleys. Sometimes they're ordinary-looking people posting fake jobs online, preying on young people looking for honest work. Destiny's family established a foundation in her name, dedicated to educating young people about employment scams and the warning signs of trafficking. They work with schools and community organizations throughout Chicago, turning their profound loss into a mission to protect others. Her grandmother keeps Destiny's Instagram page active, preserving those hair and makeup tutorials as a testament to the talented, ambitious young woman her granddaughter was and the future she should have had. Destiny Williams mattered. Her life had value, her dreams were valid, and her story must be remembered, not just as a tragedy, but as a call to vigilance, to protecting vulnerable young people, and to ensuring that predators like Marcus Patterson and Donnell Cruz